Hello, Reggie. Come on, Facebook. There you go. All right. Okay, we're getting everything underway. So today we're going to dive deeply into the paint and body section of Mobile Tech RX. And of course, we're going to put our little disclaimer up. I'll be putting dollars and labor times and labor rates in, and that is not Mobile Tech or myself telling you what you should charge, what you need to charge. That is all up to you as the individual business owners. So we'll pop into my tablet. Man, clickety click click goes to the devices. Oh, look at that. The internet is on track today. As always, at any point, I do have it set up. If you are watching this webinar from a device, you can send me a question through that. If you are watching this on Facebook Live, feel free to type out your questions. If I don't see your question roll through on the Facebook Live during it, it has happened in the past, I will answer that question for you afterwards. Otherwise, I'll try to answer them in the air or on the air. So we'll pop into the paint and body section. So the first thing that we are going to notice, I'll bring up my little arrow here, is we have 4 ways to price inside of paint and body. So it will ultimately depend upon how you are running your company, whether you use the flat, the panel, or the item or labor pricing. So depending upon how you are set up, whether you are working for a wholesale account or if you are working as a retail, if you are doing a flat fee, then you would put in the price right up here in this box. And that flat fee would just cover every single thing that you did on the vehicle. So you just tap a panel and then you can go in there and mark what all you have done on that panel. And that will go for each panel going around the car. You can mark it as all for one flat fee. If there is a charge in here in any one of these that you do that we have not already preloaded within the system, then you can come down here and you can add your own item. And once you click that, it will be marked onto that panel. So here we are in a flat fee. If you charge one set price for the car, no matter what you do around that automobile, that is what the flat fee is designed for. Now, the flat panel and item also read out only in the top bar, and I'll take you into a print preview and show you that. That is so you can do 10 vehicles on a single page. Now remember, I am doing this on the tablet because it's a little bit easier and I don't get notifications on my tablet the way I do on my phone. If you are on your phone, you will see just this icon view over here. Let's see if we can draw a little bit. So you get this screen, and if you swipe the whole screen, that is just a phenomenal set of clear drawings from yours truly. That was nice. The list view, which is on the right hand side, is actually just got to swipe the screen over onto that. And up here at the top of the screen where you see list paint code, if you are on your phone, you will actually have one other, which will be the icon view, which is the car over here. So the paint code, as long as you have put in your year, make, model, and selected the color, if you click on that paint code, it will give you whatever the paint code is for the color that you have picked. And that can always be found. Anytime you have selected that color inside of Mobile Tech RX in the vehicle info, then that paint code is found right here in the paint and body section. If you need to change your labor pricing, if you have moved over to, say, panel pricing or item pricing, you are going to delete everything that you convenient when I'm talking like this and giving you a demo, but out in the field, it is frustrating. So do make sure you can set this default for your customer by going into your client settings and setting your default paint and body charge rates. If you're doing a panel or a flat fee, you can set those via the client. So into panel pricing, when we click on our bumper, now we enter the price here for the panel. Then we go down and say what it is that we were doing on that panel. And then every time we select a panel from there on out, we do the exact same procedure. That will list them all out as each of the panels, and then the dollars for all of those panels will accumulate at the top that you'll see. If you are into item pricing, then when we go into it, as we select each of the services that we are doing, you see it pops up over here, and then we need to click there and then go ahead and add in the dollar amounts for what it is that we are doing. And we do that for each and every service. It does help if I click the dollar box. Then it will just accumulate on each panel. If we need to add a note inside of any of the services, we just click on that note section up top here. As long as it has turned white, that is the field that you are in. You can add in your most relevant per previous, improve, or add that custom note as needed. Get that off of the screen here. So when we are in those first three services, like I said, flat, the panel, and the item, those were all designed and set up for those of you who are doing wholesale work. So on the PDF, when it comes in, it's going to print right here into this services line, and it will break down. In this particular case, we have the item. So we have the grand total, which is also up here, but then the breakdown of how that grand total is set. So the panel and the item pricing, as well as the flat pricing, all read out the same. The flat pricing will just give the price and list which of the panels you've included into that. The panel pricing will just say the panel and the dollar amount on each of those, but it reads only into this bar here, simply so you can have multiple cars put onto a single page. And we try to get it where you can fit around 10. Now, of course, if you have 300 lines in here, that is going to substantially increase the size of your PDF. The labor field, and this will be the largest field inside of paint and body. Here you're going to want your labor rate set, whether you use the defaults for your company, which is what you see right here, or if you have them as a default per the client, you can set those labor rates for that default on the client. If at any point you need to override them within the app, just tap on that box and you can override that labor rate. So your list view, obviously you've got a lot more options, such as your left mirror, right mirror. You're going to be able to have the cab corners if you're doing a pickup, obviously this car, the fuel lid door, the spoiler. Things that we couldn't add in the icon view are all going to be found in the list view. And if it is not there, then feel free to just add your own. And then you've added your own panel. And that is exactly the same on all of them. In fact, if you add that panel and you are in the wrong field, it is still there when you change your pricing structure. So your list view and your icon view, both sides, interactive, anything that you press. The list view, you do get the ability to do entire vehicle. And that is only found, I think, in the paint and body and maybe in the PDR section where you can list if you're doing a hail job all over. But once you have selected your panel inside of paint and body in the labor field, you will need to have a year, make, model, and that will automatically bring up the refinish time. Your clear coat, 3-stage, those are all derivatives based off of the paint time. Anytime you check any of these, as you see, the materials rate needs to be set. When you check any of those, it will automatically add the materials in. So your labor times, if you need to override any labor time, it's as easy as clicking right in the box and adding what you need. For those of you that do your paint touch-up, or you're doing paintless and repair and you also offer a paint service and you're trying to copy an insurance paper time and maybe they have a negative labor time into overlap. So here you can just add the negative amount and put it right in, and you can copy that insurance estimate if you need to. The top is all set for paint. You know, again, this section of Mobile Tech RX was not designed for conventional auto bodies. This was designed for paint reconditioning, bumper repair. So the paint is a service that you offer. If you want to do body repair and labor repair times, that is beneath the paint section, only in the labor field, where then you can come in, select your repair, and add in your time. We also added all of the most common things that people ask for: the block and prime, the feather prime and block, clean up a used panel. This was everything that you guys have asked us to include in the paint and body section. In the lower right-hand corner, we have the R&I and the parts. And this is found in any of the panels inside of the paint touch-up. So when you click onto those, for example, we are in this right front fender. If we click onto that, it will take us right to that right front fender, and we can add any of the R&Is directly from our paint and body screens. Now, when you are using the labor field, and let's just throw on one more panel here right quick. You can see the paint, the clear coat, and then we will go back to our print preview. Once we go into the labor field, now the top, the services, is just the breakdown on each of these, but the actual repair lines are now in the body of the estimate and no longer in that top. This is set up more for a retail format and gives you that breakdown where you have your body labor and the labor times are here, your paint times. Like I said, if you're copying an insurance and they have a negative time for an overlap or a base coat reduction that you see, you can make sure that that shows and reads out. Breaks down your R&Is with its labor time on every single panel. So the labor field is definitely set up more in the retail aspect. If you're using labor times in your wholesale service work and everything, it is going to make your PDFs larger, especially if you put multiple cars on a single estimate. So by the time you start breaking them down and filling it out like this, you're probably only going to get 3, maybe 4 cars per single page of the PDF. I don't know how big of an issue that is. The feedback that we've gotten doesn't, people don't really say that it's much of a concern. When it comes to paint, bumper repair, paint touch-up, most of you are using one of the other fields, but just be aware if you need a breakdown on a retail customer's job, and you can just use that labor field, and that will give that breakdown in the body of the actual estimate. If you are using this and you want to do a retail and you're normally doing your wholesale and you're doing a retail paint touch-up and you know the dollar amounts that you want, it's pretty easy to come in here and change these times. to get what it is that you want and the dollar amount figure that you get. So if you just click that box, and once you back it out, then you can start seeing as it's coming down and changing the pricing. That way you can make sure that you're at the pricing that you need. The static on the clear coat, to help define this, is actually a percentage based upon paint time, and that automatically gets calculated in. But once you have manually overwrote the clear coat time, it is no longer a calculation. So if you come in and change your paint time at the very beginning, the clear coat time will adjust automatically for that paint time hours. But once you have adjusted this clear coat time, then you've clicked an override inside of Mobile Tech RX, and you have manually set that, so it will no longer change as you change your paint time. So that is something to be aware of if you do adjust your clear coat time. 3-stage is the same way. Anytime you need to add anything, make sure you press down here, type it in, then always select it after you've typed it in. I am guilty of this myself. I will type it in, look at my PDF, and wonder where my new panel came from. Again, if you need a negative time for something that you're copying, make sure you press that negative. Android users. I've discovered this as I've dived in a little bit more into Android. Samsungs do have a default keyboard that have the negative and the decimal all on the same thing. For those of you that are very familiar with it, you already know to double tap that. I did not. I had to receive that lesson. I just wanted to pass that along. That's my own foolishness. Apple has spoiled me and made me slow. You can see your breakdown from the labor field over here in the list view. So if you do have some questions, this is what relays out at the top of that PDF. And you can see where the materials comes in. So if you do add a negative time, such as this overlap, that does come out of the materials section. Lost my train of thought, pardon me. If you're adding parts, you can add the parts straight from within inside the panel. Again, you no longer have to go back and forth through the services. Now, photos, we have the photos set up where you can break it down by panel. And those of you that are doing bumper repair, this is some of the common things that I've talked to with you guys on the bumper repair, that we've used the miscellaneous and using the before and after section. Taking that before and after really seems to help on the customer. When you send off that email with the final invoice, or whether you're sending out that estimate and you take that before photo within the app, it helps as a little bit of a reminder to your retail customer that this is what I was spending my money on. You guys are very talented when you do your paint touch-up, and it's very easy for companies to, our retail customers and John and Jane Q public, to forget that you just return their pride and joy back to perfection. So you can do those before and afters. I do believe in the panel section, we're going to be adding some bumpers in there. I've got nothing for why it didn't get added. It was an oversight on our part. Vehicle, I mean, you can use the front or the rear here and do the same, but we are going to get those added in for that. So again, we'll reiterate one more time. If you change that pricing structure when you are in there, it will clear off every single thing that you did. So it looks like we don't have any questions. We're doing pretty good. I've got my double monitors. I get to look like I'm exercising. Yeah. Tongue tied. It's been a heck of a morning. So Flat means we're putting in one price and we are just marking down what it is that we're doing around the automobile. And then when we click on that panel, we are stating what we are doing on each of those panels, and we are just giving a one overall price and a list of what we are doing in those panels. Panel pricing means we're pricing each individual panel separately and adding our dollar amount to that, and then showing what it is that we are doing for that price onto that panel. Item pricing means we select a panel and we are charging for each of the individual items inside the repair and what it is that we have done. And again, flat, panel, and item are designed to be on the wholesale estimating, and it moves it right here into that top bar. You can see I still have the R&Is because I didn't delete the R&I section out of it. But the top three, item, panel, they all show up right here just in the services bar. It is only the labor section that reads down into the body of the estimate. And every time we change, it will delete. We also keep a running total of your hours and your materials here, as well as within the list view. Anytime you are in the labor field, the labor field is vastly deeper than the wholesale portions. The wholesale portions are designed to be fast and efficient for you in the field at your dealer, servicing your dealer. The labor field was really designed for more of a retail aspect where you really need to break everything down. I hope this helps clarify everything. Remember, this is being recorded. Not only is it on our YouTube page, and it will be on our YouTube page forever in the videos, I will get it loaded as soon as it gets done to our YouTube channel. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are watching this on the webinar, please seek us out on Facebook, like us and follow us. Like us on Instagram, and I will personally be working to get better on Instagram. I can't really load any of these videos to Instagram. That's just not the way Instagram works, and that's why I have trouble with it. I'm old and do everything on the computer. So, but please check into and see those videos, reference them. If you ever have questions in the field and need tech support, call our 888-626-6750. You can find that in the app. In fact, let me bring this up one more time, and I will show where it is at in the app. Or you can send in an email to help@mobiletechrx.com, and that will take it straight into our tech support guys. So if you are in the app, and this is on your phone and on the tablet, if you come right into bring up the menu on the left-hand side, go down to settings, click on the word info, and right here, you have got our phone number. And if you do it on your phone and you press the button right here, you can call us right up and it will dial your phone. So please reach out to myself, John Renstrom. You can find me, friend me on Facebook, ask me general usage questions. I can't do much on tech support. I'm not the tech support guy. Those are found at the email address, help. The 888 number, the 888-626-6750, you can text that, and that will text into our tech support crew, and they will help you there. So I really appreciate it. It looks like I'm either doing a phenomenal job or I have stumped everybody because I have no questions. So I appreciate you tuning in. Next week, I will get the webinar set up and figure out what I am going to do next week and get that posted out. So take care, everybody. I hope you have a great week and look forward to seeing you again next week.